then I got tired of the corporate grind and I started my own business. I am only working with companies who support the nomadic, tiny living, and off-grid lifestyles. Hi, I'm Sierra. This is my dog Snow, and we have been traveling in Dreams, my 2017 ProMaster 2500, gosh, since September of 2020. Welcome to my kitchen. As you can see, I have a lot of wood in my kitchen. I love it. The majority of it is all cedar. Lots of storage up here for all the food items. I have some storage up here as well that is all of my bedding, because you will soon see that I have a dinette to bed conversion. So I'm able to keep my blankets and some extra sheets and pillowcases and stuff up there as well. Have a really deep sink here with a cover on it, which is great to have some extra counter space, and I can hide all the dirty dishes, which are down there right now. I have a very simple water system. Literally, I have two 6-gallon freshwater jugs and a 2-gallon gray water tank that's down here, and I just fill them up manually and put them back in there. I actually prefer that setup because I don't have to try to find like an actual hose and water. I can literally take these into a grocery store and fill them up, and 10 gallons will usually last me about a week. I have lots of drawer storage here as well, which is pretty nice, kind of keep things organized. If I do take a corner too quickly, they do open because I have a lot of stuff in them. So would probably suggest some sort of a better locking mechanism if you're going to load up on your drawers. I have an isotherm fridge, which I love. I'd like to upgrade. Bigger freezer would be nice just to be able to be out in the middle of nowhere longer, but it works great. And you'll probably notice very different than some other builds because the wood is all cedar throughout this galley, and there is a metal frame as opposed to actual 2x4s. So when the builder that did this designed it, he wanted it to be more lightweight and strong. So because these are all custom done, it's very lightweight. The wood is even thinner. He planed the wood down less, used cedar, which is a lighter wood than your typical pine or birch that people use. So makes the entire van a little bit lighter than your traditional build. This is a galley where my stove is. It actually slides out, and then I have my camp stove in here with a bunch of other stuff in there. And this is actually redwood that has been put in the overlay, so it's a lot harder, a lot stronger, so this will actually dent a little easier. I would never do cedar as a countertop again. After living in the van for 2 years, there are dings everywhere. It's such a soft wood, like I've literally scraped it with my own fingernail. So I would not do cedar on the tops, but for the cabinet fronts and everything else, it's been fantastic, and I really have appreciated the lighter weight wood in here. A question that everyone always wants to ask is, how much did the van cost? I did not build it myself. I did purchase this van. Someone else built it for themselves, lived in it for a year, decided they wanted to sell it, refinished it, and put it on the market. Most banks, especially the larger banks, will not finance a camper van because of the high risk. It's not going to happen. So pretty much what I did is I found a credit union, and I went to the smallest credit union I could find in the area that I lived in with the worst website. That I assumed that the manager was sitting right next to the salesperson that I was going to talk to, and he could just go knock on a door and ask a question instead of having to go through all the levels. And lo and behold, that's what worked. I did have to get an appraisal, so I had to pay for the appraisal out of pocket before I even got approved for the loan. That was a risk I was willing to take. I think it was $420 for the appraisal. So it was a professional that I found in Portland, so I had to drive down to Portland, actually the owner of the van drove to Portland. I met him there in Portland, and then I had the appraisal done literally in a parking lot. And they gave me a printout with all of the specs and everything and what they deemed the van to be worth. So one of my favorite things in my kitchen / living area / bedroom is my lovely spice rack here. It's just beautiful, and I can have all my spices here and pretty much make whatever I want, and they make some noise when I drive. I actually bought some like felt to be able to put in between and on the sides, and I just haven't done that yet. This ugly monstrosity is a heater, which is amazing actually. It's a propane catalytic heater. And this, even though it's a little more expensive than your traditional like Chinese diesel heaters that everyone loves and gets, there's no installation except this here. And it runs off propane. It's super efficient. It literally uses 1/15 of a pound of propane per hour. I did not start this lifestyle to sit in a cave and not be able to see out my windows. It's incredible. I always park to where I have the best view out that side. And I do have covers for the windows. I have blackout curtains that I can put up if I'm having to park in a city, which is very rare, maybe 5 times in the last 2 years. I do have storage underneath both of these benches here. This side is mostly my battery bank. I just have 200 amp hours of lithium on this side. This is all completely storage on the way back. It's fantastic. So these open up real nice. You can just get into them that way. These are a wonderful resource to have for if you're rotating clothes or you have a blanket out and you just want to like get it out of the way really quick. Also is great for headroom, so you don't quite feel as claustrophobic when you're stuck in your van and it's been raining for 3 days. Welcome to my living room / office / bedroom. I absolutely love this space. In a new build, I will not opt for the dinette conversion. I will get a fixed bed, but when I got this van, again, I was working a full-time job, knew I'd be in the van a lot, and I wanted a big space to be able to spread out and do my work. So it's served me well. I love it. This table can move. I can sit any direction. It slides out a little farther. I can spread out. It's absolutely fantastic. Converting from office space to bed space isn't too terrible, but it does take enough time that it's just not something I want to be doing forever, and I'm going to be doing this for a while. So there's these 2 handles down underneath the table, and it literally just slides down. And then these just slide over and go in, and I'm able to make my bed. And then I also have storage accessible down here. These pop out, so this is a really nice option. I have items that I get to often, like my chairs and things like that in here. Over here I have this beautiful book rack, which I love. It's nice to have this all accessible while I'm in bed and can just like grab what I want. And then this is actually pretty cool as well. This is a table that's great for extra projects, like if you need to do some work or something, it comes down here and you can set up whatever you want. Projects, a pizza box fits perfectly right here. This side slides out, this one slides as well. So you can literally expand out way far. Obviously, I travel with my dog Snow. Traveling with a dog is definitely challenging at times. I wouldn't change it for the world. You just have to plan around it. You can't leave your dog in the desert to go grocery shopping at 2 p.m. You get up early and you do your grocery shopping before it gets hot out. You leave an area when it gets too warm. I don't have air conditioning in this van other than just what's up in the driver's cab. So we definitely have to be aware of that. I often will actually call the local Forest Service if I'm in an area that I haven't been at before and tell them that I have a dog and ask what I should be aware of. And that's been very helpful. I've actually learned about poisonous frogs in Arizona, and that there are Gila monsters in areas I didn't know there were, and that there's an active mountain lion. Like I've learned a lot of really interesting things just by doing that. So I highly recommend that. Our Forest Service is always willing to answer our questions. Also be very aware of your surroundings, because there's a lot of dogs out here that aren't socialized a lot. So I recently have also found that sometimes my dog just doesn't like other dogs, or maybe the other dog doesn't want to play and they come up to your van and jump in, and some dogs are very protective of their vans. I now have like 2 main vets, one in Seattle and one in Tucson, Arizona. It worked out pretty well. And then I do have pet insurance. I highly, highly, highly recommend if you have a pet that you invest in pet insurance, because that way if there is an emergency, you can just go and not worry about it and pay your deductible and be good. Just always put away a little money for that. My van actually has a really cool option inside behind the passenger seat that is a bike rack, and I can have my mountain bike inside the van behind that passenger seat, take off the front tire. It's a great thing to have if I'm in the cities or I'm worried about someone taking it off the back, but it was a pain in the tuchus to take out, get in, and use. So I opted to get this bike rack recently. It's been wonderful. This is the only rack I could find that had the flip out that goes more than just the 90 degrees. It goes even farther behind, so I can open up my doors all the way. On top of my van, I do have a roof deck and a storage bin and my Wii Boost. Out of all of those three things, I use one, which is my Wii Boost. That is a game changer and very helpful, especially when you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have cell service. It absolutely makes your cell service better. It will not give you service if there is none, but it will amplify whatever service is there. My rooftop deck is beautiful. It's all reclaimed wood. I can sit up there and watch the sunset. I just don't. A lot of people love their rooftop decks. I am not one that's going to go up on my roof a lot. It makes me a little nervous, and my dog also can't go up there with me. So, and then the rocket box container on top, it's actually empty. I made a decision that if I needed to store something that I couldn't access easily, I didn't need to have it. So it took me about 1.5 years to rearrange everything, and now there's nothing in it. And I'm going to get rid of it. I'm actually redoing my roof to get some different solar soon. And when that happens, that's just going to go away. So currently I don't have enough power. I have 200 amp hours of lithium, and I upgraded from regular lead acid batteries. And I wish when I had upgraded, I would have put in 400 amp hours. And then I have 2 180 watt solar panels on top. So that's what, 360 watts of solar. And that actually is amazing. And it's great for the power that I have. And I do have an alternator charger as well. So when I drive, I can charge my batteries. Highly recommend that, especially if you're going to be going anywhere that's like cloudy or in the Pacific Northwest. Because if you don't get sun for a while, you have no way to charge your batteries. A few necessary things in the van. This bug screen, I actually have one on the back as well. I just upgraded this year to that. This is amazing. So many times out in the middle of nowhere, there's cows nearby, and with cows comes flies. So this is fantastic. They make custom ones for the vans. Don't get those. They're ridiculously expensive. This was like $35 off Amazon. As much as I despise supporting Amazon, it's cheap and you just have to make a little cut and put it in, and it's easy to install. So when I started out on the road, I was working a corporate job, Monday through Friday, 8 to whenever the heck I ended, which was often later than 5. Did that for 1.5 years, and then I got tired of the corporate grind and I started my own business. So currently I am doing copywriting and content writing and a little bit of marketing. My business is called Boondock Consulting, and I am only working with companies who support the nomadic, tiny living, and off-grid lifestyles. So I have a website, boondockconsulting.com. I'm also on Instagram at boondockconsulting. So you can reach out to me that way. You can send me a message on Instagram. I have a contact form on my website. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me there. Feel free to reach out, ask any questions. I love sharing about how I was able to start my own business, how I can help you. I actually do work with other nomad freelancers right now when I can't do the work my clients are asking me to do, either because I don't have the skills or I just don't have the time, which has been more of the case recently. I'm flipping that work to other nomads, and we're working together, and I'm able to pitch them some work as well, which has been amazing. So I would love to be able to support nomads on the road that way.